we're back. Welcome to A State of Opinions. I'm Myles.
I'm Tia.
In my personal opinion, throughout my history of school and the system, year 7 throughout up into year 12 now, not once have I really seen them teach about, proper history. You know what I mean? Like, we've learned about World War II all throughout the years, like from year 3 up to year 11. You know what I mean? Like, we've always learned about that. Wouldn't you agree on that?
For me, it's more culture wise.
Yeah.
If it's not my culture specifically, it's like other cultures, like they're not taught, even if it's to myself, it's to like learning about other, like diving into them.
Okay, yeah.
So stuff like that.
You learn about a lot of past history and how they lived, like especially around the time, around World War II,
World War II, World War One,
and World War One, and that, and all like the different little wars.
I mean, that's just the basics anyway.
Exactly.
But it's not even that. It's just going.
They don't teach you about your history, you know what I'm saying, like black people history.
Yeah, that's so true.
They don't like to teach about that in schools, and I do not know why.
That's true. The most that they do is Martin Luther King.
Yeah, Black History Month. That's literally all we get. And they're like, during that Black History Month, not even then. One time I remember my secondary school took their mick. It was Black History Month. They did one assembly on it, and then that was it. That was literally it.
This is the problem as well. And it's not even like past history, it's current. Like what's going on today.
Exactly. Like people make, for example, Palestine, they made that a trend. Like I'm not saying everyone did. I'm saying certain people did from what I've seen. You know what I mean? Like they've, obviously now you can get them little posts on Instagram and they've posted it to the stories.
They post it, they're like, I don't know, what do they say? They're like, we support this or whatever. But some people just do it because it's a trend.
It's a trend,
and it's so annoying. It's like, do you actually want to educate yourself, or are you just doing it just because?
They're doing it just because. Like, I can see, obviously now you're thinking you're doing something, but maybe just instead of posting, maybe there's something you can do.
So many people do it like unconsciously without even realizing it.
Yeah, they do it just because, oh look, they've posted it. My friends posted it. Let me just post it as well. You know what I mean?
It's the
unless you genuinely feel like you can make a difference towards that specific problem, then don't bother posting it, because it's not gonna help. It's gonna help to a degree. It's gonna make people aware.
But it's the meaning behind it.
It's the meaning. Are you doing it? It's just a question. Are you doing it to help actual people? Are you doing it to make yourself feel better?
That's so true.
That's my question. But then even then, obviously now we go to the same academy, discuss that and whatnot. In this day and age now, certain people don't like learning about things that don't concern them. You know what I mean? Because obviously now we go to an academy where we're surrounded by a lot of people from different backgrounds.
See, that's the one thing I love about our academy. Is the different cultures and the different backgrounds. And you can actually learn so much, but it's whether you're open to learning. Yeah,
it is. It really is. It's all about, in my opinion, acceptance. And as of recently, it's all about minding your business to a degree as well. You know what I mean? Because
I just wish topics were talked about more, just in school in general. Because my experience in secondary school, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
In RE, I mean, the most we did was watch a couple videos and whatever.
I feel like teenagers nowadays take it upon themselves to feel like they have this role to spread this global awareness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's fab, but it can also be bad as well.
Yeah, it can be. They feel like it's their role to be like, oh yeah, I've got to do this. I am making a change. I'm like, are you? You can post and everything, but it's the same thing here and there. It's not just with Palestine. It's not too long ago, actually, someone around my area near King Standing got stabbed. A black boy got stabbed by a group of racists, and that's over now. It's not being talked about anymore. You know what I mean? People are done talking about it, and I don't know why it became a big thing.
That's the thing with little things like that. It's can be talked about for a weekend, and then it's no one's business.
Exactly.
But their mother and their family is
they're suffering.
Exactly.
They're suffering in silence with no one to actually talk up.
Which sucks. There could be something happening, but I don't know about it because it's not being spread, it's not being taught. Even it's not being talked about in schools, which is my problem. I want a teacher to tell me that this is wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and as, you know, black people in today's society, you know, especially black teenagers, boy or girl, it does not matter at all. We have to always be vigilant. We always have to watch our back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no hate to anyone in it, but you cannot stand there and try to tell me, oh, you're being too cautious. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Honestly, I'm lucky if I make it to 18. You know what I mean?
It's so true.
Any black person is lucky if they make it past 18. If you can make it kind of out of the trenches and into a better life you've built for yourself, then you will be secured. You know what I mean? That's why so many people, again, going back to it, one of the previous episodes, side hustles, that's why a lot of black kids turn to fraud, because they want the money to make themselves feel secure and feel like no one can touch them. But then again, at the same time, they flex it, they feel powerful, and then people go out to get them, and then they die, and then it's just that continued, you know, cycle. And then we'll be...
Yeah, it just goes round and round.
It goes round and round and round, and then we'll be in school or college, and none of the teachers will talk about it.
Of course they
Like,
won't.
we have this thing as well called, PDT, like personal development time.
Yeah, do you know what? We don't do that anymore.
You don't do that?
No, not anymore.
So I don't. We still do it, but like my class does.
Actually,
Yeah.
I wish we did that.
It's actually really fun, but that's besides the point. They don't take the time to actually learn. Like, not learn. They don't take the time to teach that in that time. Like that's a prime time to be like teaching that. You know what I mean? Like, we can actually learn so much in that bit. But right now,
even if it's like half an hour discussion, that's what I really loved about PDT. Everyone in our class came together, and we were able to just talk, just have like circle time.
Yeah, we were allowed to just be ourselves as well. That was one of the main things. We were allowed to just be ourselves and listen to each other's opinions, but also respect them, and then just come together as, you know, a sort of extended community.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But they don't take the time to do that, and I feel like the teachers now, they don't want to teach it because they don't know how we would react. Some of us may have a bad reaction. I feel like
they also don't know how to teach it.
Yeah, they don't
and
know
that's
how.
not their fault.
It's not their fault, but it's the environment they were raised in. You know what I mean?
True.
They've been raised, and a bunch of other teenagers as well that we have been to college and school with have been raised in a sheltered, kind of gated kind of world community. You know what I mean? They haven't been, it sounds bad, but they haven't been.
If you grow up with it, you know no different.
Yeah, they don't know different. They haven't had anyone. They've surrounded themselves with people just like them. But that is the case with everyone, you know what I mean? But like a few people, like for myself, example, I'm surrounded by a bunch of people from different backgrounds and like scenarios, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has been through stuff. I've been through stuff that's forced me to mature way too quickly, and I know how to handle certain situations now because of what's happened to me in the past. You know what I'm talking about? True. But certain people now, they will look at that and just be like, oh, he's over-exaggerating. Oh, it's not that deep. But then they'll look at someone else now dealing with issues that could be easily resolved. I'm not even going to go into it. And they'll be like, oh, I feel so bad for them. Oh, it's peak. I understand it's peak in it, but from my point of view, I've been through that tenfold. You know what I mean? I've been through that just 10 times worse. So it's easy enough to solve. I know how to get over it, but it's up to the teachers to actually inform us how to deal with this. They say, oh yeah, come talk to us if you need, come do this, come, feel safe in this environment.
I feel like we're not, like quite a lot of teens, quite a lot of people our age just don't feel comfortable talking about that sort of stuff. They don't. And this actually brings me back to the point as well, social media. Do you feel like certain teenagers now feel like a pressure over social media to like impress? 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, it also goes back to the whole posting on the stories and whatnot. And teenagers feel that, that, what would I say, necessity? Not necessity, like that, like they have to prove a point. They have to be like, yeah, I'm the one posting this. They have to be
like, yeah, I stand for it, but do you really?
Do you really? You know what I mean? Because if you did stand for it, you'd be doing a lot more than just posting something on your story and then calling it a day. You know
exactly,
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's literally it. And it ties back in to, it's not even just with social media, it's with everything. It's with like, again, Palestine, BLM, and then Pride Month as well. People will post things like that, but then truly be like, if you saw a black family walking towards you on the road, are you crossing that road? Are you staying on this side of the road, or are you crossing it?
That's the exact same thing of being like, I'm not racist.
I'm not racist.
I'm not racist. My friend's black.
I've got black friends. I've got black friends. You know what I'm saying? But like at the same time now, yeah, it's like I've been in that situation, just me on my ones, walking up the road, white family walking towards me, and they've grabbed their kids. I'm sorry, innit? I know I don't look like a normal 16-year-old, innit? But at the same time, I'm not gonna hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have to be smiling constantly, and I'm pretty sure you've probably faced this as well.
Do you know what? I haven't.
You haven't?
I haven't, because I've grown up in a place where...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And do you know what? I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, it's like I can relate.
Yeah.
Although I haven't experienced it.
To a degree,
yeah.
You can feel some sort of, you know, you got feelings for what's happened to like your friends.
Of course, yeah.
And whatnot. It makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. But, and then as well, like, you know how
in America...
It's
not even that. It's the fear behind it all.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, standing on a, like, just even having a policeman walking past me, I'm like...
You feel a bit of...
Yeah,
a bit
of
tense,
course.
A bit tense.
And it's the fear of, like, being shouted at on the train or something like that.
It's all that feeling just jumbled up inside, and you've got all these thoughts in your head and whatnot, and you don't know how to actually process it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how am I going to deal with the situation and what's going to happen afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And this all ties back to teachers not being able to properly inform us about how to keep our distance on buses, trains, and just in public in general. You know what I mean? To make other people feel comfortable. So we were raised now thinking, oh yeah, we can be nice to everyone, but people aren't going to feel how you do towards them. You know what I mean? Like vice versa type of thing. They're going to see you and be like, oh, black boy, black girl, threat, 99% sure, 1% not sure, you know what I mean? It's
always that thought in the back of the head.
Yeah, it's always going to be there no matter what, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be walking down that road, white family coming towards you. Are they going to cross it? If they cross it, fam, you already know what they were thinking. You know what I mean? You can be the nicest looking person on earth. You can have a suit on. You can be a legitimate person. But then at the end of the day now, I have to step out in my skin color, you know what I mean? Not in the clothes that I wear, not how I portray myself. I have to step out in my skin color and worry about people being afraid of me. You know what I mean? Teachers don't teach that sort of stuff. They don't inform us how that can affect other people, but our parents do. That is why, in my opinion, teachers' opinions don't always matter. Teachers are there to do one thing: teach what they specialized in. Because if they are not properly informed... It's
true, they don't know necessarily how to teach it.
Yeah, they don't know the necessary components to actually build up a person correctly. You know what I mean? Their own kids, yeah, sure, but that's parenting skills. You have to look at your students of all colours, of all
cultures,
differences. You know what I mean? Whether I'm just gonna say whether they're gay, whether they're bi, whether they're black, white, Asian, no matter what, you're gonna have to look at that person and be like, I'm gonna have to take this responsibility and be like, this is now the time for me to step up, be not just a teacher, but an actual human, and take the time to just be like, you know what I mean, teach them properly.
Going back to stuff that we should be taught in school, I think that we definitely should be taught about like taxes and
definitely
stocks and stuff. Because like me personally, I don't know anything about how to buy a house.
Neither do I.
How to get a car. All I know is that you need insurance for a car.
That's literally whenever
and, like,
I hear
taxes,
something.
I'm like, my mum told me the other day, like, you need to pay like £1,000 for like tax or something. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you don't realise how expensive things are.
You really don't. You really don't.
I think that needs to be taught, especially in secondary schools.
And also, like, we obviously go to an acting academy, but they don't. Whenever they've talked about like our futures and whatnot, they've spoken about like, oh yeah, auditions, moving on to higher education in the performing arts. But then, you know, they avoid that freelance kind of side of it. You know what I mean? Like that freelance acting. But we'll get to that point just in a bit, because I have something to say about like stocks and like not stocks, like, you know, like cars and whatnot.
Yeah.
As of recently, my sister, big up her, she passed her driving test.
Yeah.
And today she's getting her car. innit?
That's sick.
I know, innit? I'm really proud of her. I'm really, really proud of her. And she didn't know anything about buying a car up until like about 5 days ago. You know what I mean? Like, I say about a day after she passed her driving test, she was on the phone to her brother and was like, her other one, not me, obviously. Her other one, and was like, yeah, can you sort it out with me? And he was like, yeah, because he knows, because he's self-taught. You know what I mean? He's self-taught. He's not, you know, he wasn't taught by anyone, I don't think, anyway. I think he's self-taught mainly. So he was sorting it all out for her, and she's getting a car today that quickly. She's found the right one, right price, put down a deposit and everything. Deposits as well. Putting down deposits. Yeah, deposits.
That is the same thing for houses.
Yeah, the bigger, I know this for a fact, the bigger deposit you put down, the less you have to pay in the long run each month.
Yeah.
I know that much. So that's what
and it's also debt. Debt's a huge thing that we're not taught about.
Yeah, we're not taught about that either, because I feel like the system is
and
like...
you know what? That's the thing that's not talked about, especially with uni, debt.
Debt.
That's one of the things that scares me about going to uni, is debt.
Oh yeah, go to uni, it's good for you. And I'm not trying to be about 5,000 down in the bank. Like, I'm not trying to do any of that. Like, no way. It's horrible, but then also it's just going back to it now, yeah. It's like they don't teach any of that. They don't. And I feel like they do it because the government has to have money in some sort of way. So then eventually they can go back to a huge selection of people and just be like, you know, this and that. You owe us this amount of money, and then bada bing, bada boom, they've got all this money back again. It's just whack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just whack. But what I was going to talk about now?
Acting.
Oh yeah, acting. Yeah, freelance side of it. Yeah, the freelance side of it. It does sound proper interesting. But you know what? You have to make sure, in my opinion, you'll get your opinion in just a second actually. We have to, in my opinion, we have to make sure we have a secure like net to fall back on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're going to go into freelance acting, I don't normally rely on plans. You know what I mean? Like when I got into this academy, I wasn't really planning on, oh yeah, if I get in, then I'm gassed. If I don't, then I'm going to be fussed. Like it wasn't part of my plan.
If I didn't get in, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. Like that was my only thing.
Fair enough. But you have to have, if you're going to go into freelance acting and just take any job you see, you have to have a net to fall back on. You know what I mean? Something that you can go back to. Maybe like just a little job to hold you down. You know
That's because you need that.
Yeah,
as an actor.
You need that. Go on, talk now.
Well, it's not even that. I feel like we're not taught on the business side of acting. Because acting, yes, it's a career, but it's also a business.
Yeah.
And you need to know, like, networking is a huge thing in this industry. I feel like it's mentioned, but I feel like it needs to be talked about a lot more. It needs to be taught a lot more. And money, especially money contracts. I felt that needs to be taught, because me being new to this industry, stepping into it, I know nothing about the money side of it. And that is a main side. And it's also signing with the right people, with the right companies,
and how many people you know and whatnot, and how to actually like put yourself out there properly. You know what I mean? Unless if we don't get taught about that, then we're just gonna have to learn by, what's it called now? Like by faults. You know what I mean?
By mistakes.
By mistakes, countless mistakes, and then just magically being able to one day just handle it all. You know what I mean? Take the good for the worst and worst for the good. You know what I mean? Things like that. Because if you can't take it like that now, then your career's kind of just going to end up in the bin. You know what I mean? It's not going to end up good for you. It's not going to end up good for no one, because it's something you want to go into, but it's just not going to end up good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just going to end up bad, which is actually really bad, to be fair. I'm not going to lie. But, what can you do about it, man? But listen, this is all we have time for today. Yeah. I've been Myles.
I've been Tia.
And we shall see you soon.